everyone, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you are doing good. I am Sonal Jain, your host, and I welcome you to a brand new episode of Gupshup with Pals. In today's episode, we have Mr. Mayur Puri, who is a screenwriter, lyricist, actor, and a filmmaker. He wrote several songs, dialogues for the movies such as Bajrangi Bhaijaan, Om Shanti Om, Happy New Year, ABCD, and many more. His short film Firdaus has been doing festival rounds and been officially selected in over 36 international film festivals. He has been into Bollywood since last 22 years and has received many awards and titles to his name. So presenting to you the one-man army, Mayur Puri. Hello, sir.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Tell me.
Okay, sir. So we have two sections for this. Okay.
Yeah.
First is a long section, that is a talk show. And second is a short section, that is a sort of rapid fire. Okay.
Cool.
Great. So I'll start with the thing ki, since you are in Bollywood since 22 years. First of all, congratulations on that. I was thinking ki how is the whole experience, sir?
Well, they never let you know that it's been so many years because every day is a struggle. Every day is a new battle to fight. So I just feel that I've come yesterday. You're telling me, so I'm getting reminded that I came in 1999. But I don't know where all these years have gone. It looks like I'm still like about to start. मुझे लग रहा है मुझे जो करना है वो तो अभी मैंमैंने सोचा ही नहीं है अभी तो I still have to do a lot.
That's totally great, sir. I mean, you are someone like we all look up to. I can't tell you how happy right now I'm talking to you, but yeah, it's insane, seriously. So since last year, sir, we have been in a very undefined situation. Like our lives have been upside down totally. So, according to you, what has been your lessons from the lockdown?
Well, to be very honest, Sonal, I have always been working from home. Right, I'm a writer, so people are discovering the perils and pitfalls or the joys or whatever of working from home. I've always lived my life like that. So I've always taken it slow. I've always taken it easy going. Even when I had started off my career in Bollywood, I never worked like how people live in Bombay, like they never have time for family and friends and all of that. Nothing of that sort. I've always had lot of time for everybody. I'll tell you, simple thing is if you want to make time, you can make time for everything. If you don't want to make time, it's about you wanting to, then everything can happen. So I personally feel that the good thing that has happened in the last 2 years, 1.5 years, is that we have discovered that life is not boxed in a way that we have been boxing it since so many years. Oh, एक office होता है वहीं पे काम हो सकता है. Oh, 9 o'clock you have to reach the office, then only things will happen. No, there are no such rules. People are telling me now that they have discovered more productivity since they have been working from home, and it's not a compromise. Like there's I don't know about your generation, but in my generation there was this basic understanding between people that, oh, either you can make a career or you can have a happy family. You can't have both because something will have to be compromised. No, bollocks, that's all wrong. That's not true. We can have both. We can have a work-life balance, and everybody is trying to in the last 2 years, everybody is trying to understand their own. It's different for everybody. It's not the same. What is my work-life balance can't be same for you. But everybody has got the time to find that balance, or at least they're on the way to find that balance. And that's a great thing. That's amazing. I think the quality of human life will improve. Of course, a lot of things have they're not great and they're wrong, and but I think overall everybody's understood the meanings of the words sanitation, and these are important things in general life. Also, I used to always complain about India not being sanitary. I used to always complain about street food. You see, now today my street food wala is also wearing gloves and cleaning everything, and so there's a basic understanding of duty and all that has come. So I think it will do us good.
Yeah.
मेरा सिर्फ एक ही लोगों से कहना, लोग कई बार ऐसा बोलते हैं जो मेरे एज के या मेरे जनरेशन के लोग, वो बोलते हैं कि बहुत सारे लोग अब asocial होते जा रहे हैं. द यंगर जनरेशन से जो शिकायत है वो है कि दे आर बिकमिंग asocial. They are not outgoing. They are not willing to step out and willing to take risks and all. And to be very honest, I am okay with it. I am okay with people being asocial as long as they don't become antisocial. I'm okay.
Yeah. That's good. Totally a great opinion, sir. So, adding to your thinking, so what do you like? What do you think about the, our generation and your generation has a, like, people say that there is a generation gap. So, how do you think about that?
I think mentally, it everybody lives in their own age, right? Like I'm 20 mentally, and I will always be 20. I was 20 when I was 12 years old. Also, when I was 12, I was just about. I had that kind of maturity that I was little older than other people. But now that I'm growing, I still have that enterprising, youthful energy, or whatever you call. Like I will take a risk that even a 20-year-old will not take. If I'm going on a climb, or if I'm going on a trekking or something, I'll be the person who goes right to the edge and who leans down. I'm the kind of person who does those kind of things. I think age is a very mental thing. And of course physically you got to this generation is more probably cued on to how healthy or how fit you should be. My generation was not like that. My generation is probably the most unhealthiest of all generations, because they didn't care about anything, and they only cared about their own khana pina or ashkana. But I think there's not much of a difference in terms of mentally. My generation, which is probably one generation older than yours, we were a product of India Shining campaign. We were a product of 90s. We were a product of that time when India was taking a leap already. See, there's a huge difference between the generation before me and your generation. That's a huge gap. But in I think we are the same, only we are just a little bit wiser. That's with the age.
No, sir, I strongly believe that. No, yeah, I strongly believe in a sense what you are talking about. Like कहीं ना हम में थोड़ा मेच्योरिटी लैक करता है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप जितना जिस एज में आप हो उस एज में हम आते आते पता नहीं हमारे सेंसेस कितने होंगे that we cannot tell. Like,
पर ठीक है, थोड़ा इमेच्योर होना चाहिए. वो उम्र होती है, उस उम्र में सबको इमेच्योर. अब 20 साल के लोग अगर मच्योर हो जाएंगे तो फिर क्या होगा दुनिया का. यू शुड नॉट बी मच्योर. इट्स ओके. प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है? प्रॉब्लम ये होता है, हमारे इंडस्ट्री में बहुत से ऐसे स्टार हैं, बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग हैं who still who still do stupid and immature things, whether they're actors or producers or directors. I don't want to name anybody, but they do very immature things. And people, their friends and all, they will defend them by saying, अरे नहीं, वो दिल का बहुत अच्छा है, वो दिल का बच्चा है, वो एकदम, he's very child at heart. Yeah, child at heart is fine when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 53 years old. Then being a child at heart does not work for me. Then it is being stupid.
Talking about your career, sir. So you have been working since so long. So I was curious about a thing. So how do you make it to Bollywood? Like, do you have an idea that I have to go there? You had a chance to go there, like.
I was a science student, but very early I enjoyed writing, and I enjoyed making things. I always wanted to be a director. I never wanted to write. Writing was because my language was good, because I come from a family where Hindi is spoken well, and everybody has a very colorful way of, very expressive way of talking. My mom, my nani, my mama, masis, my chachas, everybody has their way of speaking. So the dialogue writing and observation comes naturally from there. But somewhere I was very early, in probably 11th or 12th standard, maybe, around that time I had realized that I'm going to work in this industry. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to become a filmmaker. And then I gave up studying science, and I switched to literature. I wanted to study philosophy, but then that didn't work out. So I went for literature, because I thought, if you want to work in any industry, you should know the basics of it. Problem is, हमारे यहाँ पे people come to become writers, people want to become directors, people want to become filmmakers. They don't have language, they don't have good language, they have a grammar issue, there are so many problems. And they've studied engineering, they've studied MBA, they have studied medicine, and then they come to my class to study screenwriting. So I always tell them that I know that you have studied engineering for 5 years. That's not going to do anything for you when you try to become a writer. Better spend 6 months and learn language, learn parts of speech, learn figures of speech, learn everything, learn the language first, then come. So I had decided early. Then, because I didn't have much option, actually. I was in Ahmedabad, and there wasn't much that in those days you could do. There was very little scope. 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, आप क्या कर सकते थे?
Hmm.
So I started working as a technician in theater, in plays. So I started working, I started doing music, I started doing lights, I started doing ghost direction for people, blocking and all of those things. And because of that, I got a lot of exposure. I could work with, because I was a technician, I was not an actor, I was not a director, so I could do more plays than other people. So in a year, if somebody could do one play or two plays or three plays, I could do 6, 7, 8, 10, you know. So in the 6 years that I was in Gujarat, I did so many plays. मैंने बहुत सारे नाटक किए. I worked with different people. I understood different styles of working and everything. Then I started doing television in Gujarat. I did hundreds of episodes of television there. I directed and wrote and all of that. Then the natural step was, like, I had achieved everything that a young boy can achieve in Ahmedabad, whether it was financially, whether it was respect, whether it was whatever. I had already achieved that. So there was no growth. And I get very antsy if I'm not growing. I get very antsy if I become like a pond of still water. I'm like a river. I have to flow. I cannot stay at one place. So I quit all of that and I came to Bombay. Also, another thing you have to keep in mind is that when I came to Bombay, that was 1999. In
Yeah.
those days, there was not much of internet available, no YouTube, no Google, no mobile. There was no smartphones. Mobile phones aa gaye the, but we used to
Yeah.
still have those big, chunky pieces,
Hmm.
which was actually a murder weapon. You could hit somebody with that mobile phone on their head and they would die. So we came from that kind of. And if I wanted to make a film or if I wanted to create content, there was no option for me but to come to Bombay, because the entire filmmaking in India was between this one 10-kilometer, 12-kilometer stretch of Bandra to Andheri. Everything was happening there. We didn't The big cameras were here, equipment was here, production houses were here, all opportunities were here. Later on, once smartphones started coming with HD quality recording in your phone, now you are not dependent on anybody. You can make your film, you can create your content wherever you are. And then came YouTube, which is the democratization of the distribution, worldwide distribution. Now you have on your phone. You can create content and you can share it with the whole world. You really don't need a big company for you to do that, right? And the third thing that happened was social media, which happened a couple of years later, where independent content creators started getting respect, which is why everybody is a filmmaker now. Everybody is a broadcaster. क्या आप फेसबुक पे, क्या आप इंस्टाग्राम पे है, तो आप ब्रॉडकास्टर है, तो आप फिल्ममेकर ही हैं. Because what are you doing? You're making reels, right? Reels is short form to storytelling. That's what you're doing. But when I came in 99, we did not have these options. So there was no option but to come to Bombay. So I came to Bombay. I was lucky that as soon as I came to Bombay, within a week, I got my first job, which was with Sanjay Gadvi sir, and he made me his chief assistant director for a movie called Terelia. It was a small film, under 1 crore budget, very small film. It was 3 heroes, 3 heroines, very good music. Jeet Pritam's first film. Rajkumar Harani was the editor of that film. Abbas Tarwala's first film as a lyricist. My first film as a chief AD. A lot of new people, lot of interesting stuff happened in that film. But the film was too early for its time. It was a small, very small kind of. Didn't do that well. And while that film was in Dabba for a year, in that much time, Sanjay sir got an opportunity to be in touch with Yash Raj. So we went and met Adi sir with something that I had written. It was a very complex and a saga kind of a story, and obviously we were not allowed to make that kind of a film at that time. But Adi sir realized that these people have passion, they have, they understand cinema, and let me bankroll a smaller film for them. That small film was Mere Yar Ki Shaadi Hai, which is my first script, which is my first screenplay. So I wrote Mere Yar Ki Shaadi Hai. Then we made Dhoom. Dhoom, I was the associate director in Yash Raj, and that way 4.5 years I worked in YRF. And after that, I wanted, like I said, I want to grow. I want to, I can't be stagnant at a place. तो मैं वहां से मैंने बड़ा respectfully I said I want to pursue my own thing. फिर वहां से निकल के I started as an independent writer. Then 2004 and Doom released. 2005 I became a lyricist. I started writing songs because my friend Pritam had become a big composer by that time, so he could afford to give me chances. Then 2006 I did Om Shanti Om. I started writing that. 2007 Om Shanti Om released, and after that is, I don't know, I think it was yesterday. I don't know what I was doing after that.
Like you have a really, really wonderful journey.
Here you can get an opportunity early, but you still have to prove yourself every day. That's what is the important thing. Every Friday is an exam. Every film is an exam. It's not that एक बार एक अच्छी picture ली तो life खत्म हो गई. I wish that was true because abroad you can do that. I have written 150 songs, Sonal, out of which 100 songs are blockbuster. If I would be in UK or if I would be in US, I could retire by now. I could buy an island in Hawaii and I could live peacefully. But I'm not allowed to do that in India because we don't pay royalties and we get paid very little money. So, so I still have to keep working. I still have to dig my well every day and source out water.
But that's your passion, Nasser. So it becomes, I think it becomes really easy that way.
I would want to sit at home and look at the clouds and look at the rain, and somebody should pay me for that. I'm a poet, but that won't happen, right? In today's time, if there was some big king, अगर कोई राजा विक्रमादित्य होता, तो मैं कालिदास की तरह I would be in his darbar, and that Raja would pay me to exist. But today, that is not possible. Today, I have to earn my living.
So coming to then my next question. So I've heard somewhere कि Anand Bakshi sir once said कि you put me in a situation and then only I can write. Okay, so is that same for you? Means does the situation affect your poetries or your writings and things and all?
बख्शी साहब कहते थे गाना धुन पे नहीं चलता, गाना बोल पे नहीं चलता, गाना सिचुएशन पे चलता है. Which I completely agree with. I think whatever songs I have written, whatever dialogue I have written, it's not Mayur Puri speaking. It is that character in that situation. You know, it is that character. I am not going around and saying किसी लड़की को छेड़े कोई तो डिशुम. That's not my mental. Violence is not my mentality at all. But these two boys who are not only cops but they are moral cops also. That's a brief given by the director. That these two boys ना वो पंगा लेने के लिए गाना गा रहे हैं, उस टाइप का एटीट्यूड आना चाहिए. So then I have written for them, right? If I have written Biggie Biggie or if I have written जाने क्या चाहे मन बावरा, it's all situational. It's all what situation that person is, and that's how. But having said that, my first song was not situational. So when Pritam called me one day suddenly and he said, you had given me a dummy mukhda, but the director likes that mukhda very much, and now I am in the studio, Sonu Nigam is sitting, or I need two antras for that song, so you come to the studio and write it right now. So I rushed, I went there. Director was Vivek Agnihotri sir. The film was Chocolate, and the mukhda was halka halka sa ye nasha beka beka sa ye sama aa jana. And mukhda I had written because there's no situation. I just heard the tune and I wrote the mukhda. It was some random shit. And when I met Vivek sir, I told Vivek sir, I said, so what is the situation? Like, what do you want me to write about? He said, let me tell you the story. The story is that there are these 5-6 people. They are in London. They are walking on the streets of London. Usual Suspects देखिए तूने वही story है. So I said, usual suspects के अंदर ये हल्का हल्का नशा कहाँ आएगा? He said, I don't care. There's 5 people walking in London. You just write anything. So if you hear the lyrics of the antras, it is just some random philosophical shit. It doesn't actually. It goes क्यों भला सपनों के पीछे दिल मेरा अपनों के पीछे खोता है, ख्वाहिशें आवारा बनके टूट जाएं तारा बनके होता है. This has nothing to do with the situation of the film. It's just some random, because if you don't know the situation, then you will write random philosophy. No, you will write, oh, you should live life like this. Oh, the birds are tweeting so nice. Oh, the leaves are sarsarawing so nice. You will write that kind of thing because you have no situation. If you have a situation, if you have ABCD and if you have के बाप ने बेटे को डांस नहीं करने दिया और वो बेचारा बोलता ही रह गया और उसका काम नहीं हो पाया, then he will say बेजुमा कब से मैं रहा. Then you have situational lyrics. So most of my lyrics is situational, but sometimes it is like this also. It happens.
That's totally great, sir. So talking about your writing, so what is the process? Like, is there any process for that writing, or if are you somehow in a, like you told me that there is a situation that help you to frame that all?
Okay, now lot of people talk about process and inspiration and motivation. Like, first motivation is I need money to survive, okay, to feed my family, to run my business. 18 families are dependent on me. I have assistants, I have a support staff, whatever. I need to keep working. That is number one motivation. So whenever people come and tell me, oh, even when I was a young new writer, when I had not written anything, at that time also somebody would say, no, you come and write so that future relationship will be better. and you will get good exposure. I would say exposure does not feed my bills. It doesn't pay my bill. Don't talk to me about exposure. Okay, I will write only for money. So number one, motivation. चाहे कोई admit करे या ना करे, चाहे कोई माने या ना माने, if today a commercial writer, a professional successful writer is working in the industry, number one thing is that he has to work. You know,
Yeah.
you have to keep yourself going. So you have to, otherwise there's no reason. The second thing that is most important for me is the kind of people that I'm working with. It's very important that people are nice and good. You know, film अच्छी बने बुरी बने वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. Sometimes with the best of the intentions, the film might not shape up well. You know, there's so many things that can go wrong. It's a very, very complex craft, you know. Even if film अच्छी बन गई है, so you can work with the best of the technicians and biggest of the names. चले या ना चले, वो भी हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. Because market can change, suddenly something goes wrong, audience is not in that frame of mind, whatever. मैंने हिंदू मुस्लिम या इंडिया पाकिस्तान भाईचारे पे पिक्चर बनाई और पाकिस्तान ने हमारे पे अटैक कर दिया तो थिएटर के पर्दे फाड़ देंगे लोग. So the problem is that there is nothing in your hand. In your hand is only one thing, and that is, can you choose the people that you work with? Are they nice people? Are they kind of the people with whom you can have a long-term relationship? Because that's what is going to happen, right? If I decide to work on a script for someone, I know कि अगले 6 महीने 8 महीने साल भर तक इस बंदे का मुंह मुझे देखना पड़ेगा रोज. क्या उसकी शक्ल ऐसी है मैं बर्दाश्त कर पाऊंगा? क्या मैं इस आदमी को झेल पाऊंगा? सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट ये सारी चीजें कोई प्रैक्टिकली बोलता नहीं, but it's the truth. All of this is in the back of your mind. Am I getting enough money? Is this the kind of people that I can bear in my life? Can I have them in my life? Then I will choose to work with them. Of course, after that, it comes whether do you really like the project, whether you really like the story, whether you really like, do you relate to it? Do you really enjoy, that kind of storytelling? That is a third thing. And a lot of people will tell you this, that, oh, there's a higher purpose and there's a vision. I want to make this kind of movies. I want to write that kind of movies. I want to get awards and I want to get recognition. और एक writer की जिम्मेदारी होती है कि वो समाज को I don't believe in all that bullshit. These are all things to say which sound good in interviews, but it's all nonsense. We all know that that's not true. And if it is true, then it comes much later in life. It is not in the beginning. You take care of the money, you take care of the people that you're working with. And if you like the subject, if it is a little bit okay, then that triggers off the process. Process is nothing. Process is only you deciding to do this work. That's all that is a process. Once you open the blank, if you're a writer, if you open a blank page, आप सुबह शुरू करोगे लिखना, शाम तक आपने कुछ लिख ही दिया होगा, because that's why you are a writer. Otherwise, you're not a writer. So there's no process to it. The process is for me to decide to do the project or not, and that takes a long time. Apart from that, everything is makhan after that. Once you have decided you are doing this, then there is nothing. Then you just bleed. Just take off, open your laptop and just cry and bleed, and the script will happen or the song will happen.
Oh, so sir, as you're talking about कि हम लोग देखते हैं कि you choose a film. So what is that one thing that you see in that project and you choose it? Like you want to do. What is that thing you want to do this project?
Oh, this is a tricky question. Sorry. Because I'll tell you, there are different things in different scripts. Okay, if I'm doing Om Shanti Om, before that I was an assistant, and I've grown up on 70s movies. I love 70s 80s cinema, the Bollywood of that time. And at the same time, I've seen the plight of junior artists. I've worked on the sets, and I know how difficult their lives is and what their dreams are and how lovable those people are. Actually, it's a different part of society that people have not paid attention on, and they deserve to have a movie on them. So that became a reason for me to do it. Not the fact that Farah Khan was the director or Shah Rukh Khan was the actor. For me, those things were not important. I wrote Om Shanti Om because I loved what Farah had written. The story and screenplay that Farah was making and the kind of film she wanted to make, I just fell in love with it because it was so sweet. She was trying to legitimize the people on the fringe. It's a Dalit story in a way. अगर आप एक संभ्रांत समाज लेते हैं, उसमें ब्राह्मण हैं और दलित हैं, या अपर कास्ट लोग हैं और दलित हैं, या क्षत्रिय हैं और दलित हैं, और कैसे उन लोगों ने दलितों का शोषण किया, अगर आप वैसी कहानी, अगर आप गुलामी बना रहे हैं, करेक्ट, जेपी दत्ता साहब ने बनाई थी, सेम थिंग इट इज. इस तरह से लोग पानी ये नहीं
Yeah.
तो सेम बिहेवियर फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में स्टार्स और जूनियर आर्टिस्ट के बीच में होता है ना.
Ah,
It's the same thing. Stars are like the Brahmins of the industry, and junior artists are like the Dalits of the industry. So I like these dynamics because you're telling a story of a subaltern. You're subverting the narratives. You know, you're making a hero who's a small person. So I like, most of the times I like losers ka stories. I like stories where the hero is a loser. He is not somebody who's in a power position, and then the journey to come to wisdom and power position. That is what is interesting. That's always, flawed characters are interesting. You have characters which have some, you know, you'll be like, अरे यार ये गलत है, but then still you are loving that character. Like मेरे यार की शादी है, Uday Chopra's character Sanjay, his name is. He
yeah.
realizes that his friend is getting married, and he's late. He realizes अब ये उसकी शादी तय हो गई, अब कोई अब क्या फायदा है भाई शादी में जाके, तुम क्या करोगे? नहीं, मैं जा रहा हूँ शादी को तोड़ने के लिए. But for me, the film doesn't become successful because he's successful in breaking the wedding. That's not the journey. That's not the journey of Meria. The journey is pre-climax. Mein he realizes that he's wrong and he gives up, and he goes to Jimmy Shergill and he says, "मैं हार गया. I was wrong. I should not try to break up this wedding. I have packed my bags and I'm going home." And when he's about to go home, that time Jimmy Shergill tells him that नहीं यार, अभी तो हमारी दोस्ती है, क्या तू मेरी शादी में नहीं आएगा? You know, so he literally becomes a Bharati and he goes in the shadi. So for me, these arcs and these turnarounds of the characters are important. When you see that, like ABCD, I love the first ABCD and the second ABCD. Like first ABCD, it was amazing because it's the slum kids who are trying to have an impossible dream. In the second ABCD, it is the guy who has done such a big flaw, such a big guilty thing. उसने cheating किया पहले ही sequence में, मतलब स्वर्ग में बैठी उसकी माँ भी उससे नाराज हो गई. And now he has to retribution, you know, he has to regain his name. So I feel that and Chak De is same, because Chak De में उसके घर के बाहर गद्दार लिखा था, and he has to wipe that and live up to that. The same thing it is there ना, आपका नाम खराब हो गया है, आपको उसको ठीक करना है. There are certain things about characters and stories which are very exciting, and you know that if you work on this, then good scenes will happen. अच्छे scene बनेंगे, तो वो जरूरी है.
Okay. So actually, I'm very curious about this. Like, I read somewhere that you have dubbed Hindi versions of Avengers, Jojo Rabbit, then Lion King. So
yes, right now, 3 of my projects are already out. There is Black Widow, which has just come out. That's my Hindi script. Then there is Shang-Chi, which is doing superb in theaters all over India. Wherever there is 50% capacity and theaters are opening, is doing very well. That Hindi version I have done. Then Free Guy is coming on the 17th April, which is also Ryan Reynolds, and it's outstanding film. That also Hindi version I have done. And yesterday we dropped the 5th season of Money Heist, which also
okay, you have only done it. Oh,
yeah. Orange is the New Black, Money Heist, lots of Netflix shows.
Yeah. Because I was not knowing about the Money Heist thing, but that's totally, congratulations on that. So first, so I want to ask you, how do you set the emotion? Like in today's time, translation writing is not like focused job. Rather than it's a part of your career, I guess. So how can you tell कि how do you put the emotions in that whole thing कि हाँ मेरे को French से या English से मेरे को हिंदी में dub करना है, तो how do you do it? Like what's the process about it?
There's a complex process there. So before me, there were people who were doing this. After I started doing this job, the entire approach to this job has changed in India, at least in Indian subcontinent. It's changed. Before I started, my first film was Jungle Book. Disney came to me to do the translation for Jungle Book, and I said, I don't do translations. It's not, I'm writer, but I don't know how to take somebody else's story and how I'll be able to tell it and all of that. And they said, nahi, you will have freedom. However you want to do, you do. So when I saw Jungle Book, I realized that the problem, and I saw some of the dubbed versions of earlier movies and all of that, and I realized that they were literally translating things. You know, what happens is that when you do literal translations, every language is different. It doesn't translate well. That's why we have something called lost in translation. And that happens because I'm literal translate kar rahe ho. तो स्पाइडरमैन को मकड़ मानव बोल देने से वो नहीं बन जाता है. इट्स नॉट नाइस. So when I came to do this job, I decided that of course it's a very technical job, so you have to keep in mind the sync. That's I'm not going to talk about that because that will become a 1 hour lecture of how we make sync happen and how do we manage the bilabials and all of that. That's all. You need to really know your languages, both of them. जिस लैंग्वेज से आप अडेप्ट कर रहे हो और जिस लैंग्वेज में कर रहे हो, both the languages should be your ma and mausi. You should have that close relation with both the languages, then only you can do it. Second thing is, you got to understand the culture. If I'm doing an American show or if I'm doing a Japanese show, okay, so we have done My Neighbor Totoro and all those Japanese films also we have done for Netflix, and they're great. But before I start working on that, I have to understand Japanese culture. I have to understand Japanese people. I have to understand what everything means, what it is to be, to have Japanese culture. Same when I'm doing American stuff, then I need to know, okay, what is a Starbucks for them and what is what is a McDonald's, and if they have written Ben and Jerry's ice cream, what am I going to do in India? Another thing is, अगर adaptation करना है तो हर एक चीज को भी adapt नहीं करना चाहिए. Like for example, if you are doing, if they have said burger, I cannot make burger का वड़ा पाव because people eat burger in India now. It's not an alien thing. If I was doing 20 years back, then probably I should have done, okay, वहाँ पे burger लिखा मैं यहाँ पे वड़ा पाव कर देता. But it's not required now. Now people eat burgers. So it is a contextual understanding that you have to understand the context. And the most important, see, I am a big fan of Natya Shastra. Can you see these books?
Yeah.
So Bharat Muni has written Natya Shastra so many years back, and all Indian art is based on Natya Shastra, which is the theory of 9 ras. जो 9 रस होते हैं हमारे. So when I'm translating, I try to understand what is the original rus, what is the intention of the original writer director. यहाँ पे वो humor create करना चाहते हैं, thrill create करना, what rus they are trying to create, and I try to translate that. I try to adapt and write a new joke or write new words or whatever, but in a way that the same rus my audience will feel. And if you have mapped out your rus theory, if you have mapped out your chart of your in this scene this rus, in this scene this rus, and then you adapt it, it will be a good adaptation always. So all of these things you keep in mind. It's a process. It's a complex, complicated process, but it's great fun. Great joy you get when you can really translate something well.
Yeah. So adding to this, so this is a part of the writer's process. Okay. So हम कहीं से सीख सकते हैं कि do we have we have to learn from the process itself.
See, you can be self-taught also. You can learn writing on your own. It will take you longer time to become a good writer, especially if you want to become a screenwriter. Because screenwriting is not just art, it's a craft.
Yeah.
It's a craft. You got to understand how people write scripts, because a film script is a manual, like how when you buy a TV or when you buy a AC or when you buy a fridge, it comes with a manual. The manual tells you how to operate that thing, right? A film script is a manual of how to shoot films. आपको ये फिल्म कैसी बनानी है उसका वो मैनुअल है, किसको क्या डायलॉग बोलना है, किसको कैसे. You need to learn that, and if you learn it will be faster and better for you. So there are lots of places where you can learn screenwriting. My new course will start in November, I guess, at Active Prepares. I'm starting a new batch after the lockdown. I've done 11 batches before the lockdown, but after the lockdown, the first physical batch we have started, the 12th batch which is going to happen. So
it will be in Mumbai only?
In Mumbai. It's in Mumbai, but it's only on weekends. So outstation students can come for the weekend and go back.
So
there are lots of people who come weekly, weekend. They'll come back. They'll come on a Saturday morning. The classes are from 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So they can come Saturday morning, finish the class, and Sunday evening after 6 o'clock they can go, or Monday morning they can go. So we get a lot of outstation students.
As you were telling that you are constantly following 70s and 80s cinemas and all. So have you seen any changes? You came in Bollywood since 2000, and then does it make any difference?
Lots. It's like a completely different industry. It's not the same industry anymore. When I had come, it was a completely different industry. Today, and it's from small little things. It's not just the stories, just not the scripting. It's the way the entire industry functions is very different now. So when I had come, there were still those old film families who were working. It was nice to work with them, because एक तरीका होता था काम करने का लोगों का. ऑफिस में काम करते थे, मंडे टू सैटरडे आफ्टरनून क्रिकेट खेलते थे. There was a lot of bhaichara, there was a lot of family feeling when you were working on a movie together. Today it's become much more professional, it's become much more I would like to say it's more organized today, but it's also become a little cold, it's also become a little distant. We used to, when I made Mere Yar Ki Shaadi Hai, and when we were doing my early movies, and we were between the shoots we were playing antaksharis and we were playing dumb charades and all of that nonsense was going on. We were partying almost every day. Now you cannot, it doesn't happen like that. अभी भी होती है पार्टी, शेड्यूल खत्म होने पे होती है, और प्लान करके पार्टी होती है. मतलब हाँ भाई रैप अप हो गया, पिक्चर बन गई, then suppose there'll be a party or whatever. But those impromptu, like that time, then people are there just partying, having fun. That impromptu things don't happen now, because everybody is in a hurry to finish what they're doing and go home. So that is one thing. In terms of scripting, a lot of things have changed. It's not the way we used to write earlier. We could get, even I have never been that kind of a writer. I have never written jokes where there is women bashing or there is making fun of anybody's disabilities, or so I was woke from before this word woke came. I was always writing like that because I never wanted to write humor or write stories which look down upon anyone. I'm not that kind of a person, so I can't write like that. But in those days, lots of writers were writing like that, और चलता था, और उस टाइप की कहानियां भी चलती थी, and उस टाइप की stories भी चलती. Audience also didn't mind. Today you can't do that. Today, obviously, you have to be respectful towards all kinds of people, all kinds of communities, whether it's women, whether it is transgender, whether it is alternate sexuality, whether it is caste wise, this, that, whether it is physically disabled people or not. You cannot make fun of anybody now. You cannot be insensitive. Making fun is a separate thing. You cannot even be insensitive to them. And that I really appreciate, that I really like, that everybody now has to come to my standard of writing and write. I never wrote those kind of stuff before also. So now everybody has to become, today if you write a dirty joke, you will have a problem. Like 10 times the producer will tell you, or the director, or everybody will tell you that, no, this is not correct. You cannot do this joke now. And even if you do, and even if you're laughing, then people will, pull you down on Twitter or whatever. So there is a certain sensitization which has happened now, which I think is very good. It was required, zaruri tha, wo hona hi chahiye tha, and that has happened, and that's great.
So, so what do you think of OTT? Like, is it a good place for the movies and all?
Yeah, of course, you get more opportunity, you have more people working, your work is archived. See what was happening, pehle do hi avenues the, there was either you make a movie or you make a TV show. Both movies and TV shows, unless you make a super hit movie, unless you make a blockbuster movie, it would be having some archival value. Otherwise, there will be no archival value to your work. It will come and go. TV to has zero. Traditionally in India, TV had zero archival values. There was no archival value. TV आता था, episode देख के लोग सो जाते थे, क्योंकि there's nothing that stays with people. But OTT, thankfully, if you make a good show, it can, like today Friends is revived. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was about to shut down and it started again. So now it is archival value. There is certain value to the good content that if you create good content today, you can really say that it's going to stay. I mean, I'm not saying forever, but it will stay for a long time. The shelf life of every project, every story, every good story has increased because of OTT, and philosophically, that's a great thing. As a social change, I believe that's a very good thing, that we remember good stories for a longer period of time. That's very good. That's very good.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of social media short form content, because that is coming, that's all trends coming and going and all of that. I also do reels. It's not like I don't do. I do it for fun, but I'm just saying that we all know that is not really, like, people call themselves digital creators, and calling themselves digital creators, they only follow trends that other people are creating. They don't create anything. किसी और का lip sync है, किसी और का sound track है, किसी और ने use किया हुआ filter है, आप वो चार चीजें इकट्ठा करके, and then you are making something and you're calling yourself a creator. You're not a creator. you know. That's And what happens is that this sense of power, when you think you are a creator and you created something and suddenly you get 100 likes for whatever reason, suddenly you feel very empowered. And not only empowered, you feel entitled. You feel that, oh,
Yeah.
मुझे तो आता है, मैं content कैसा create करना, I know. No, 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 no. You're far from being a creator. बहुत दूर हैं आप अभी creator बनने से, जरा chill कीजिए. So, but yes, OTT is a great rescue for writers, for creators. My only fear, my only dar, apprehension is that how it, who does it empower at the end of the day? If it keeps on empowering creators, it's great. But if it starts empowering only companies, that will be a problem. So what happened is when Doordarshan came in India, it empowered creator. It empowered creators, na?
Mhm.
Big creators.
Yeah.
Industry के इतने बड़े लोग थे, whether it was Aziz Mirza, Kundan Shah, these early people who did so much work for television in India, Pankaj Parashar, all of these people, it empowered those bright, brilliant, creative minds. Then what happened? Big corporates took over the entire television industry. Big broadcasters came, private broadcasters came, and then the power of the creator eroded away. They took away power from them and took all the copyright, took all the broadcasting rights, gave them little money to work, and slowly and gradually the importance of the writer and the director became nullified in the television ecosystem in India.
As you are here, why I will not talk about the your short film for those. I watched it. I watched it yesterday only, and it's so good.
Oh, you watched?
Like, I can tell you, really
Thank
good.
you.
So I haven't seen much of that type of content, but yeah, I really felt good after watching that.
Well, I made Firdaus because nobody else will make it. Nobody will give me money to make a film like that, right? Because nobody wants to back a movie which starts with a blank slate, and on that blank slate it's written, "This is a work of fiction, just like religion." That's how the movie starts, right?
Yeah.
I'm discarding religion. I'm not offending one person. I'm offending Jesus, Allah, Bhagwan, all of them ek saath in one line. And of course I could not, nobody will give me money, nobody will fund this kind of a film, so you have to fund it with your own money, you have to do it with your own conviction. But it was important for me to make that film. It was important because I realized that the root cause of terrorism, the root cause of this whole thing, is basically one simple thing, that there are us and there are others. The root cause of all problems in this world is because of this one reason. We think
Yeah.
ऐसे हैं और आप वैसे हो. When we start creating difference between human beings, when we start differentiating between human beings, all problems start because of that. And the reason for that, and why would you follow something like that? And the reason why we follow all of that, because of that one laddu that every religion gives, that you will die, and after that you will get heaven, you will get swarg, or as in Islam it is, आपको फिरदौस जन्नत मिल जाएगी, या क्रिश्चियनिटी में हेवन मिल जाएगा, हिंदुइज्म में आपको स्वर्ग मिल जाएगा, निर्वाण की प्राप्ति हो जाएगी बुद्धिज्म के अंदर. तो आफ्टर, इट्स वेरी इजी ना सोनल, इफ आई वांट समथिंग फ्रॉम यू, इफ आई वांट टू डू समथिंग फॉर यू, आई कैन प्रॉमिस यू दैट, ओ you do this and after 5 years I will pay you back, but lots of rewards. Even better, I will tell you, no, not 5 years, after 20 years I will give lots of things, I will give you, but after 20 years, what is the best case scenario? I will give you after you die. I never have to give only. You understand? So religion
Yeah.
promises you something. It's like an insurance policy that never pakaus only. ये वो इंश्योरेंस है जो कभी पकता ही नहीं है, because it's very easy to promise something that their people are going to get after death. It's the easiest trick in the world. It's the easiest trick to fool people, and that's what religion does. It fools people. It makes a complete idiots out of people. And because religion gives people, religion is very good also for a lot of things. Religion gives people peace. There is an argument that religion gives people morality. I don't believe in that. I don't think religion gives morality to anyone. Either you are a moral person or you're not. Religion has nothing to do with it. But people argue that religion gives morality, religion gives culture, religion gives peace to people. And I agree with that. Spirituality does give peace to people. But at core, religion is flawed. At core, Religion has problem. Any religion. I'm not talking about any particular religion. Every religion at core is flawed. It is flawed because you cannot have a rational mind and follow it. It's just not possible. The first thing every religion asks you is अपनी आंखों से जो दिखा है वो भूल जाओ. Suspend your belief and then come to us. Surrender your own mind. यार मैं अपना दिमाग घर पे रख के अगर पिक्चर नहीं देख सकता तो मैं रिलीजन कैसे फॉलो करूं? So I understood that, and it needed a lot of guts and it needed a lot of himmat to make a short film like that. I still don't have guts to send it to Middle East countries. I've never sent it, but I made it for Kashmiri boys who have a choice to pick up a gun or to pick up a cricket bat. They have that choice. And if even one child after seeing Firdaus picks up a bat instead of an AK-47, my job is done. And I'm very happy to share this with you that a year back, Firdaus was shown in Bular Lake Festival in Kashmir, and it was received very well, and everybody stood up and clapped, and everybody was very excited because I was not sure whether I should send it there, but the organizers were very sweet and they said, no, sir, it's not that the film is talking against anybody or anything. It's an observation. And my Muslim friends also told me that Islam gives you the right to ask questions. Every religion should give you the right to ask questions. If you cannot ask questions, then that's not the correct religion to follow. And I just, by the movie, I've only asked a few questions. If you remember at the end of the film, there is one Galib ka sher that comes. के हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल को बहलाने के लिए गालिब ख्याल अच्छा. So it's not, I'm not the first person saying this. You know, Galib has already said that Jannat is just a khayal. It may not be the. So yeah, that was the process of Firdaus, and since nobody gave me money to make it, I had to make it with my own money. That's all.
But so that's totally amazing that you won 16 of the awards for it, and
almost 20 now. That was 16 when a couple of months back. Now for Firdaus, we have won over 20 awards. All of these trophies are all mostly Firdaus. And in my other room, the wall is full of certificates for awards for Firdaus. It was selected in about 37 or 38 international festivals up till now, and we've got about 20 awards.
That's totally great. So like, when I watched it yesterday, I was just I just have a feeling कि यार मतलब ऐसा चीज कोई बनाया है जिसको मतलब हम सोच नहीं सकते, मतलब that I cannot feel like that, you know. So when I saw it, I really felt good.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm so glad.
Yeah. So,
and it's even if it is 17 minutes film, every 2 minutes there's a surprise. Every 3 minutes there is something.
That's like I'm a fan of your work now. Okay, so coming to the short section, we have a rapid fire section here. So I'll ask you around 6 to 8 questions, and you have to give the answer in word or a sentence.
Sure.
Okay. So first question: a go-to movie of yours when you are feeling low?
Golmaal. Rishikesh Mukherjee Golmaal.
Okay. So a moment of your life that you cherish the most?
Both of my sons when they were born, both days were most special for me.
Okay. An actor which you would like to work with?
Shah Rukh sir is always my first choice, and I love him because he is an amazing actor, and he's such a giving person. As an actor also, he's a very giving person and all. But I'm a huge fan of my most favorite actor is dead now, and I can never be able to work with him. It was Robin Williams. I used to love his work, but he's no more there. And I'm not that fond of Hollywood. It's not like that I'm dying to work in Hollywood, but someday if I would definitely want to work with some of the people. And here in India, there are friends of mine who I enjoy working with. Abhishek is there. I really enjoy hanging out with him, and we crack jokes, and it's great fun. Yeah, that's it. I honestly speaking, when I write a script, I only write for myself. I'm looking at myself as a hero, and I'm writing the script. It can be anybody. It doesn't matter that much to me. But
an unreleased work of yours that you totally love?
Oh. So there is a script that I'm working on, and someday, hopefully soon, I'll be able to make it. It's called Dabba Gul. I think it is my life's best work. I think it's the most profound story that I've written, and it's very funny and it's very emotional, and it's exactly like my tribute to the kind of cinema that I believe in.
Okay, so coming to the next questions, tell us a few of your songs from your playlist.
I will not say my songs, obviously. I listen to rock sets. I'm little old soul, so I listen to rock set. I listen to ABBA. If you can you see
Oh,
there?
yeah, yeah.
So I know it's very cheesy, but ABBA music always makes you feel happy. It's like Mamma Mia. It's fun. So that I like Air Supply. So I listen to a lot of rock bands and rock bands of 80s 90s. That's my jam. But I love ghazals. I love Jagjit Saab. I love Jagjit Saab हमारे हिंदुस्तानी म्यूजिक की नाक है, मतलब प्राइड है वो. So I love all Ghulam Ali Saab. I love Mehndi Hasan Saab. So I love lot of ghazal listenings. I always listen to ghazal. Sufi music I love a lot. Coke Studio, Pakistan more than India, but
Same, same here. Same. Like I think all of us love that. You know, the
yeah,
the the type of music that they invent.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
I listen to a lot of world music also, so uh, but music is music, it's just
Yeah,
I don't have, honestly speaking, I don't have any playlist because
okay.
I've heard, to be very honest, Sonal, I've heard so much music in my life, you know. So in a day, I will think, okay, today I want to listen to this song. Another thing, what people don't do nowadays, which we used to do a lot, is that if we like a song, na, we would keep on listening to it. Today people move on very fast. हम लोग ये आज की generation गाना ना ज्यादा, like from last 4 days I've been only listening to Manika Magate. 5 days I'm only listening to that, you know. So when I like a song, I like to listen whole day. I will listen to that one song, and that's
Yeah,
your rishta. That's how you love music. Otherwise, what's the point?
yeah. So one project on which you loved working.
Om Shanti Om. Every day was a joy. Every day was a pleasure to work on it. And of course, my first film, Mere Yaar Ki Shaadi, also. Every day was a party. Every day was great fun, great joy.
Oh, that's totally great, sir. If you would meet your younger self, what would you say to him?
Mm, Yeah, nothing. I mean, I would just say, but because whatever people, this question is a very standard question, yaar, Sonal, and everybody, whenever people ask this question, the wise answers to give, I'll tell you that also. People say, "Oh, I would tell myself that believe in yourself," but I always believed in myself. तो मैं क्या बोलूँगा खुद को? Oh,
Yeah,
work with only good people. Oh, I've always worked with good people only. So I don't think that I have done anything. I'd probably tell myself fall in love more often.
yeah. As you told, we fall in love with more. So, do your work has any of the effect to your love life?
My personal life.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I think I have pretty well compartmentalized. But the day I write my book of poems, at that time I'll probably share more stuff about my personal life because my poems are connected to my personal life. My film work, all my dialogues work, all my screenplay work, all my film songs, they are not really. I'll tell you what, Sonal, my work does not define the kind of person I am. It's very small part of me. It's a very small part, very very small part of who I am. But my poems are more close to who I am and what I believe in. So on YouTube I've started reading some poems. Like last year on 15th August I put out a video which was a poem called Avatan, and that poem is very me, like what I feel about India, what I feel about our country, what I love it. But at the same time, असली डेमोक्रेसी, असली देश, असली ये वही होता है जहां आपको सवाल पूछने का हक हो. लाइक आई आस्क क्वेश्चन टू माय रिलीजन, आई आस्क क्वेश्चन टू माय कंट्री, यू नो. So my poems are more close to the kind of person I am rather than my film work. But that I have not published yet my poetry, so it's too early to talk about
please publish it. We are very eager to read it.
it.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Okay. So
Irshad bhai is asking me to publish. Irshad bhai से मेरा बड़ा प्यार है. Irshad bhai and me we get along very well. Irshad Kamil and me. And Irshad bhai has been telling me since last couple of months के Mayur Babu, he calls me Mayur Babu. Mayur Babu, अब आप अपनी कविताएं छपवा दो, बहुत वक्त हो गया है. So, hopefully maybe in few months I will think about doing that.
yeah. Um, okay. Next question is ki writers whose writing you admire and one of his work.
My favorite novelist is George Orwell, the writer of 1984, Animal Farm. His early books, outstanding. There is a book called Down and Out in Paris and London. There is a book called Keep the Aspidistra Flying. That's George Orwell, early George Orwell, when he used to have little romance in his novels. After that, he never wrote any romance in his novels. But early George Orwell. So I used to love his writing. And Indian authors, I like Amitav Ghosh a lot. I think his Calcutta Chromosome is like one of my
Yeah.
favorite Indian
Yeah.
novels.
Yeah. Me too. Me.
Outstandingly, what a thriller it is! Outstanding. So I met Amitav in Goa a couple of years back, and it was such a pleasure talking to him. So I like him. I read a lot of regional literature, so I don't know how much your audience would know about it, but I love Hindi. I love Harivansh Rai Bachchan's poems. I'm a big fan of his work. I'm a big fan of Hindi writing, Harishankar Parsai, his Vyang and Kataksh and satirical political writings are outstanding. So I love that. There are a lot of Gujarati writers who have influenced me. Madhura is a great playwright, and I'm so fortunate. I met Madhuji also a couple of years back, because he's relocated to US now. But there was a lit fest and I met him, and it was great joy. Like I have not, my hands have never shaken whether I'm meeting Mr. Amitabh Bachchan or whether I'm meeting, any big stars of Bollywood. शाहरुख सर ये वो मैं सबके साथ में बड़ा नॉर्मली बात कर सकता हूँ बट मधुरा इज अ पर्सन because I was from my college age I've been reading his plays and I admire him so much. When I was meeting him I was literally shaking. I love him so much. So Madhura is there. Then there was another Gujarati writer who passed away, Chandrakant Bakshi. He's got a huge influence. So I am influenced by a lot of people. I'm influenced by Sanskrit literature a lot. Whether it is Mrichikatikam and Kalidas, the works of Kalidas or Bhas, the playwright. I absolutely adore the way they used to structure and bring in the heroes and how they would, do things. Shakespeare, of course, huge inspiration. I'm a literature student. Yeah, don't talk to me about other writers. I am nothing. I'll keep on talking till 1 hour about other authors only.
Okay, so a movie or a song that you may have written, you think?
I may have written. मतलब
No, like other writer कि आप किसी और का वर्क आपको ऐसा अच्छा लगा हो कि आप शायद लिखे हो उस चीज को.
मैंने प्यार किया. When I was watching मैंने प्यार किया, when I was in school, I think. And when I was watching that movie, I was like, I would write like this. I will make exactly like this is the movie. Of course, now after 20 years, 25 years, you feel that 30 years it's been since Maine Pyar Kiya, and couple of things now you feel Kabutar ka flashback and all that, you feel a little iffy about it. But apart from that, like overall, the kind of love that film had, or Ek Duje Ke Liye, what a modern, what a crazy love story that was. And I do feel that I could have written Sadma. These kind of films I admire them so much.
I think you're completely an old school type of guy,
I am old soul.
Yeah. So, last thing, a person whom you tag to come to my podcast.
A person who?
To whom you have to tag one person who you think can come to my podcast.
Oh, okay. And that person can be from any industry or any?
Yeah, any industry.
Okay. I think who? This is very tricky. I would say that you should get Shasha Tirupati. Okay. She's a fantastic singer, national award winning singer. She sings all Rahman Saab songs. She was also my co-actor in one of the plays that I was doing, and she's absolutely brilliant and fun. So, yep, Shasha.
That's totally great, sir. Like I cannot tell you how fruitful this conversation was. Like I'm at my best right now. So Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure talking to you right now because
And
hi everyone, thank you so much for joining in. It was an amazing conversation. And if you also like it, don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up. Comment करके बताओ यार कौन सा सबसे अच्छा part लगा. And obviously do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for more such content. Till then, bye bye, and I'll see you very soon.